Hey everyone, how you doing today? We have got Matt, the mortgage guy, back. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Hey, first and foremost, folks, I was supposed to make this happen on Wednesday. Life got ahead of me and I couldn't make it happen. Matt was gracious enough to do this for me on Thursday. So Matt, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Hey, so one of the things we were talking about offline was really how do you compare deals? What do you look at? All of those things. Let me hang up on this wholesaler. I get calls from wholesalers all the time. So what I thought I would do with you is walk through the spreadsheet that I use every day. More importantly, it is the backbone of my online course that's on Teachable called How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. So I'm going to bring it up. I'll go through it. Ask me any and all questions because, again, this is what I use and this is what I teach.
Cool.
So let me share this spreadsheet. So if you've ever heard me talk, what I talk about all the time is good or great deals, right? And for me, a good or great deal is simply based on yield, right? That is what I'm trying to do. So just to orient yourself to the spreadsheet, all I'm trying to do is get to this blue column, or the column P as in Paul, right? Everything I do is about that. That column tells me what deal I need to look at, what's a bad deal, average deal, good, great. That's the column. Second, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to look at just cash. I don't look at mortgage pay down. I don't look at depreciation. I don't look at buying at a discount. I want to know how much cash comes out of my savings or money market or stock account and how much money I get back every year. That's all I'm trying to do. So I try to make it very simple. So we'll start on the left side. So again, prices, right? Prices are what prices are. Then there's the down payment. Why down payment? Well, obviously that's how much comes out of my account. Sometimes you could do 30%. Sometimes you could do 0. Sometimes you do 100%. It doesn't matter, right? Whatever you're doing for your property, step one. Step two, I call it repair costs here. Usually I call it make ready, right? Sometimes you buy a turnkey unit, it needs 0. Sometimes it needs 5,000. Sometimes it needs 50,000, right? Just trying to orient you first. And then there are closing costs, right? Whether those are points on a mortgage or escrow fees or whatever. So that's the denominator of my formula. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
And what I'll do here is I will put in one of your deals after we walk through this, because I know we were looking at one of your spreadsheets. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Then there's the month, then we go monthly. What are my monthly expenses, right? So obviously you have a mortgage rate. This spreadsheet was built for years to come. So I use 6% interest only. Folks that are in the course, put in your mortgage rate, whatever you get from your bank. I have to put something here to make it useful. Then I do taxes and insurance. And in California, it's roughly 1.015 divided by 12. Again, just an estimate. Property management, I have assumed in this equation is 10%. Utilities and other things, right? You have a condo association fee. Are you buying a duplex and you are water and garbage? You know, what's going on? Then you have expenses for vacancies, capital, whatever you want. So basically all of that leads to your total estimate monthly expenses. You with me so far?
Yep.
And then what you do is you take your monthly rent, right? What are you expected to get for monthly rent? That is simply a math equation. In the top one, you're losing money, right? Hence you're losing money. All the others, at least in this very simple example, you're making monthly money. I then times that by 12, obviously, because I'm doing a yearly comparison. And then that's yield. So it's this number, column O, divided by column F. And then I multiply it by 100% to, get a percentage. But that's it. That's what I'm trying to do. And what I teach people is what you have to do is you have to look at your market for 30 or 60 days. Your job is to find average. So maybe your average is 6%. Well, congratulations. You're not going to do anything that's average or below average. So in this simple example, you wouldn't do any of these, and you certainly wouldn't do a -3. But you might poke around the 7, or you could go into an average and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to change, let's find one with a calculation. I'm going to change the purchase on this duplex to 225 and see what happens, right? Because the spreadsheet will just allow you to move the calculations. Oh, look at that. I forgot a 0.
Heck of a deal.
Heck of a deal.
For 22 grand.
Yeah, buy that. Right. So boom, that just jumped to 8%, right? Because again, I dropped the price. List price is just list price. My students only write offers that are good or great. I had several notes this week. Hey, I wrote my first offer. I wrote it as a good deal. They rejected it. I'm like, yeah, celebrate. Let's go. That's what you should do. right? Lots of offers on good or great deals, and eventually you will get one. So why don't we do your fourplex? You just did a fourplex, right? Was that what it was?
Yeah, it's been about 18 months now, but
Let's put it in and see what happens. So what was the purchase price?
330,
330 grand. Okay. And what'd you put down?
25%.
All right. So we'll put down 25%. Okay. And what was the make ready or repair cost you estimate?
We'll put 5,000 in there because I
Okay.
had zero in mind, but as I
Either
recall, there was a few little
the
things.
carpet, paint, whatever. Closing costs,
Yeah.
3 grand, 1%.
Yeah, that's probably close.
All right. So you were putting 90 grand into that investment, right? That's what came out of your account. What was your mortgage payment?
1780. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the PI column, right? Because we got tax and insurance separate.
Yeah, taxes. Well, I mean, yeah, taxes and insurance separate. You can just give me the number and I'll zero out insurance. It's fine. PITI was how much?
1781.
All right. So in this example, folks, we're going to zero out taxes and insurance because it was in his PITI. And then property management, you had is 8%, not 10.
8%, right? Yeah.
All right. So that's 08. Okay, we're all good. Utilities, water, garbage, lawn care.
I think it's in the 250, 255 range last I looked.
All right. So 255. Do you have a reserve for bad debt, vacancies, anything?
Yeah. The property management actually holds reserves, and I'm not sure what their calculation is, but I know there's
maybe 5%. You want to say?
Yeah.
Okay. So only 5%. So we knocked that down a little bit. So I have your total expenses at 2452. Does that sound about right? What you had? Close enough?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Okay. And then what was your total rent?
3670.
3670 a month. All right. So I show you with a positive cash flow of 1157, which is a yearly cash flow of 13,883 for a yield. That's an impressive yield in California of 15%.
Yeah, and I know that these 2019 prices, this specific deal was a fairly fire sale. The guy was doing a 1031, needed to sell it. And so my current, scouting, I'm realistic enough to know that, like, hey, 15% yield is not something that I'm going to be able to likely duplicate. But, like we talked about earlier, 8, 10, 12 would be nice.
Yeah.
And
so
I think
what I would tell you to do is you got to figure out what averages. You're saying 8, 10, 12. To me, in my world, that's wishful thinking. What you need to do is you need to go do the homework on 100 Sacramento properties and tell me quite point blank, my average deal in Sacramento today is 6.25%. I'm just making stuff up.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, if I can do a good deal, which in some markets is simply 1% better, in some markets it's 2% better. Let's say it's again 6.25. Maybe in Sacramento, a good deal is 8.25 and a great deal is 10.25. Until you know, because for all I know, average is 4%. I mean, maybe markets are so nutty, that's 4%. Maybe prices go nuts in 2021 and 2022, average is 2%. I don't know where this market's going to go, but you need to do the work to figure out what average is. And again, it doesn't take a lot of time. As you saw, the spreadsheet's rather straightforward.
Right. So I guess my follow-up question would be, whether it's Sacramento or tertiary market, which this one is of Sacramento out in Marysville, you find an average, and then if average is 4%, like you said, you look for better than average.
Correct.
But if average is 2% because there's limited inventory and
San Francisco
market is what it is,
right?
That's just a non-starter.
Well, so I never make that call. I teach how to find average, and then it's the dealer's choice. Because maybe you only want to invest in Marysville because your mom's there and your sister's there and you don't want to go anywhere else. You as an investor get to make that choice. As long as you know average and you could do a 4% and a 2% world, you're okay. Or you could look at it and go, 4% is not enough for me. I'm going to go somewhere else. I don't make that call. That's the individual investor's choice.
I might drill down and take a look at Fresno and see what's going on out there.
Yeah. And then again, so a couple other things. I use this spreadsheet. It drives people crazy, especially multifamily guys. I use this spreadsheet whether I'm comparing a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house that's 500 square feet or a 20-unit apartment building. Everything goes in the same place, and I'm going for yield. It drives people crazy. Sometimes houses are better investments, which I think they are today. Apartments have higher vacancies, higher debt collection, rents are dropping, and I think houses are a better deal. I'm not one of those people that thinks bigger is better. I want my students to be able to compare a house with an apartment. And I have used this spreadsheet for the better part of 12 or 13 years. This simple, this straightforward, and it's never led me astray.
Cool. Yeah, and that's the thing too is I'm not stuck on a certain, class, single, double, triple, quadruple,
I just want the best deal, man. I mean, because right now fourplexes are probably the hottest thing on the market.
Yeah.
Because I want a house hack and I want to be that guy and all of that. Well, don't get me wrong. I'll do a fourplex, but it's got to beat a duplex. And right now, at least in my market, they don't.
Right. I saw a cool stat the other day. I wish I had it pulled up. I had it on my computer yesterday. The 2 to 4 unit market in Sacramento, super hot, and the amount of VA and FHA loans being used is up dramatically, and that's house hack. It has to be. You can't get either one of those loans unless it's a house hack. And so it's proof that, like I've taught clients of mine, it's a great friggin' strategy. Yeah. If you're 24, living by yourself, buy a friggin' fourplex, live in one unit, rent the other 3. If you want to rehab yours and move out,
so be
years down the road, do it. But you're getting the very best financing. You're out of pocket very little, so there's not a lot of capital, which most people, that's a big hurdle for them. Yep. And the proof in the numbers is out there that specific loan type for that type of 2 to 4 unit properties is up. I don't know what the percentages are, but it's up quite a bit.
Yeah. The other thing you'll see in this spreadsheet, once you get comfortable with it, it's very flexible. It allows me to compare turnkey properties with total junk because it's, again, out of pocket cash. Right. Sometimes if you can get the trade-off between lower price and heavy uplift, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is when you really get advanced, and I give out homework assignments occasionally, you can start to see how owner finance, you can start to see what happens if interest rates go up. Cause I get this we've talked about it. Interest rates go up a point. What happens to prices? Well, do the math, because sometimes it makes sense to buy now, even if value comes down, because your payment's less, which means your cash flow's up. I mean, it's meant to be something everybody can use without being an Excel wizard. And it allows you to continue using it. And it's a format, right? You just keep going down. And, after you've looked at 50 or 60, you should know what average is. And once you know average at any market, you have the power. You know more than agents. You know more than other investors, because it's like playing baseball, right? You don't have to swing at every pitch. If you know the fat pitch, just swing at that one. It's not guaranteed hit, but it's a better odds of getting a hit. So just write good or great offers. But folks, you got to do the work first. What do I say? Do the work, learn your market, do the work, learn your market. Let's go.
Cool, man. Let me ask you one question, because this thing came up as I was trying to get some clarity for me, so I could pass on the clarity to people looking.
Awesome.
What do you do in a scenario like that, where I'm plugging in this fourplex is listed at 450, and we can put in the purchase price 25% down. Current rents are 3,250, and I know based on market rent that they could rent for $1,000 a piece. So we could get to 4,000. Sure. We're currently at 3,250, especially in California, especially with the current times we're in. We don't know how fast that's going to be able to get to 4,000. So, what do you tell students as far as analyzing, current, future, and how that plays in?
So a couple of things. So we'll talk nationally first, because California has a couple of unique things given rent control, right? So nationally speaking, what I would tell them is what kind of make ready is it going to take? Because usually when you're at, say, 3,000 and you want to go, you're basically at 750 a door and you want to go to 1,000 a door, right? To simplify this. Usually what happens is you're going to raise rents, and somebody in there, if not two, are going to leave. So plan for some number, 25 or 50%. And then what I would say is what's going to be the make ready, because you just don't magically plug in $4,000 without also calculating your make ready costs. So I'm cool putting in $4,000, but you better have make ready. I would probably have 2 unit turns. What's 2 unit turns going to cost? And if you've been through your units, it could just be carpet and paint. Maybe it's 3,500 a door. Maybe it's a full remodel because the kitchen's beat the hell and the bathroom's trash. And then it's like 18K a door, right? So if you're going to do that, which I fully expect, don't put in 4,000 without the make ready cost. Otherwise the spreadsheet is lying to you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So now California specific, we have this thing called rent control on anything that's not houses, right? Units and above, 2 units and above. So you could assume 5% increases safely, or you can do 60-day notices or 90-day notices, depending on how long they live there, and assume move-out costs, because you can give them notice, but then you have to assume some of the move-out costs. You have to give back full deposit. Just include that in the make ready, right? If you want them out, right? Just don't give yourself the goodies without the bad, right? So do the math. And sometimes just raising it 5% and not having a turn is a better deal, but that's why the spreadsheet's there. You could do one line item at $4,000 rent. Everybody leaves. You could do another one at 5% increase, no make ready. And you'd be amazed how often simply a 5 or 6% rent bump with 0 vacancies blows up the yield. It's amazing.
Cool. Make sure you send me that sheet.
Oh, you got it. Any other follow-up questions or whatnot?
I don't think so. I think you say it, man. Do the work. I think, people I talk to that, watch a video or two and they get all excited and they've got the long-term dream of 100 units spitting off X number per month, sitting on the beach. They don't realize in between now and then there's a little bit of work that has to be done.
Yeah. Again, folks, if you're taking my course, all you have to do is do the work, right? We're in a pandemic still, not a lot of stuff going on out there. Might as well look at your market 10 or 20 minutes a day, do the work, be ready. More inventory is coming. Options are coming. You can make a financial impact this year if you're ready. And if you get in, buy the course, make sure you add yourself to the private Facebook group. It is called One Rental at a Time Works. That's the only place I mentor. It's the only place I interact. I also do a Saturday live stream there just for students. So make sure you do that. All right, man. Thank you very much again for flipping to Thursday. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was fun. Thanks, Mike.
You got it.